bands on demand. Sit back and watch the show. Let you talk your shit, but we done heard it all before. She don't got that same glow anymore. Acting like it's painful, bitch ain't nothing, bro. Brand new me, pop a tab for the feeling. She say I'm OD, flexing on my old demons. Offshore, shit degrees, shit won't freeze. Been the one to beat, stop, drop to your knees.
What's up, what's happening, people? Welcome back to R.E.I.D TV, baby. Hold on, let me cut this fan. Alright, welcome back to R.E.I.D TV, y'all. We got a spicy one today for y'all. We got a debate on the Whatever podcast. I'm not a watcher. I don't watch that shit no more, really, in my opinion. I think it's kind of redundant to get some stupid whores on your podcast and then dunk on them with some common sense ass shit. It just burned out quickly. But this was interesting because we have a very interesting take to go over, guys. So let's do it. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share it to your boy. We're going to have more content like this. But without further ado, let's get it. Wait.
I think it's living in unreality for you both to sit there and
That's
say,
great. Well, hold on, wait,
let me finish. Please let me
Okay.
finish.
Yeah.
I think it's living in unreality for you both to sit there and say, porn is harmless, it's great, yeah, there's some bad stuff, but it has nothing to do with porn, and everything's fine, when the reality is of your average young girl and your average young guy today, boy today, who's looking at porn on the internet is being exposed to rape porn, is being exposed to sexual assault porn, is being exposed to child sexual assault material, and a lot of young girls are reporting, and yes, we don't have the exact statistic on it because it's hard to know this.
It's not just the niche. In 2021, Bella Delphine, one of the most... wait, she just said a whole thing. Do we get to respond?
Well, the last thing I was just going to say is these young girls
She's doing kidnap role play. It's pretty common.
I mean, her and she's uncomfortable.
Okay.
This is pervasive. And
Gotcha.
you can pretend it's not happening, but it is.
Basically,
That's fine. Okay, but like
these are two, basically Christians, Catholics who are saying their case is that all porn is wrong. It shouldn't be done. Sex should be sacred. And one thing we got to remember throughout this whole thing is that two things can be true. And that's for both sides. Destiny is a great debater. He's very intelligent, in my opinion. He just lives life like a liberal, and that has bit him in the ass if you've heard the news about Destiny. But, you know, that's his business. And I'm not one to, like, shit on him and be like, yeah, that's what you get. Nah, bro. That shit is, he about to go through it. So, you know. Anyways, but, yeah, that's some background. And then the girl, she does porn, so she's defending her work. A little background. But I will say at first, these Christians, bro, they was losing this debate. Like, I low-key was with Destiny and the other girl, but, I mean, this about to take a turn. Y'all gonna see why I skipped it to this shit.
we can argue that there might be negative sexual behaviors that might be being picked up from porn, which is fine. If you've got numbers on that, I'd be interested. However,
You don't think that's happening, Destiny?
I do think it's happening, but
Okay.
we don't.
I'm glad we can agree that
A lot of,
sex
but
work
the
has
problem
led
is
to
a lot
that.
of women push for it too. So it's hard
It
to know.
doesn't matter who pushes for it. It has led to that. Is the point?
It doesn't.
Is
Wait,
that
no, wait, but we
bad?
don't know if it's led to it though, right? It could have been. There could be these desires that also weren't being expressed or being expressed in other ways before. For
So
instance,
you're saying-
things like I can tell you what I'm saying. You don't have to say you're saying. I can just tell you what I'm saying, right? Things like, for instance,
y'all go call me misogynist for this. But they got to stop with this, like, multiple people debating, man, because they be cutting each other off. I'm like, damn, like, let them make the point. Like, they didn't cut you off when you was talking, but now you want to fucking cut them off? I'm telling you.
sexual behavior at the workplace is inappropriate towards women. That's something that's been a pastime in workplaces for a long time. Men treating women in sexually aggressive ways at workplaces that had nothing to do with pornography. Things like spousal rape or marital rape. These are things that have existed for a long time that weren't encouraged by or made for pornography. If you want to play history anecdotes, you can look at all of the conquests of cities where they're sacked and all the women are raped.
Is it your argument that the 11-year-old who's exposed to pornography and finds themselves suddenly looking at sexually very explicit sexual assault material, pornography, that when they then may try to act out aspects of it with a girlfriend their first time in real life, that's a result not of the porn, but
I
they
don't
would have
think
done
this
that.
is happening.
Yeah, I don't
no,
think
no, let's. I don't think an
I don't think
11-year-old.
what is
I don't think an 11-year-old's first porn video is
That's
like
not what I
Bukake
said,
throat
Destiny.
fucker 69,
That's not
and then
what
he
I
takes his
said.
12-year-old girlfriend. Okay,
How do you know that?
Misrepresented what I said.
exactly what
I
she
said
said. I don't know
that
what she
the
said.
don't know that.
11-year-old who's exposed to porn and gets hooked and starts to look for more and runs into, because it's everywhere, sexual assault material type porn, torture type porn, maybe child sexual assault material porn, that kid then, if they act out some element of that in a real life sexual relationship with a young girl, your argument is that, well, they would have done that anyways even without the porn?
No, my argument is if you think that's happening, because I'm 34 and I've grown up hearing all the same arguments from Jack Thompson about video games, that you think a boy's gonna play a game and take a chainsaw to a guy's face and saw it open and he's not gonna go and bully his friends or kill somebody at school. You don't think these schools are, I've heard all these arguments. If you think it's happening, that's fine. You've given me a plausible scenario where it could, then show it in the data. Then show it in the data. How many 11-year-olds are choking their 12-year-old girlfriends because they...
The New York Times.
I'm telling y'all, Destiny's a good debater, because that's not a good argument, because you're so close. But you're not going to make the argument that kids are going to watch porn and then watch an 11-year-old consuming porn is not a good thing, but it's not a bad thing because it's going to cause them to do the things they see. It's a bad thing because it's basically they're becoming desensitized at an extremely early age. I mean, I'm sure we've all, at this point, we're all desensitized early as fuck. We've seen shit we were not supposed to see at very early ages for whatever reason. Some of us turned out good, but some of us did end up doing some shit, but it might not be a direct correlation because of what she's saying, but I think it does have something to do with the early desensitization of the youth, and that is not a good thing, and they both agreed on that. But you got to take it from there, but they keep trying to say, like, they're going to do what they see monkey do. It's deeper than that. It's psychological, but they did not go on psychological with it, and that's why she just lost that point.
A report on this.
Well, okay, and the New York Times report is going to say that, like, this percentage of 11-year-old students are choking their girlfriends.
No, and also, I don't think we need to come here and say we know the exact.
No. You need to present an argument. You're presenting a positive argument. You're saying that 11-year-old boys. Hold on, let me restate your argument. You're saying 11-year-old boys are finding extreme porn and they're acting that with their girlfriends.
No,
if that's happening, that's pretty bad. Do you have any evidence?
Even if they're not acting it out with their girlfriend, is it pretty bad?
Is it pretty bad if somebody views something? I don't know the answer to that. That's something you would research.
Do you think it's okay for an 11-year-old boy to suddenly start looking at rape?
Probably not. Do you think it's okay for an 11-year-old boy to hear his parents having sex? Do you think it's okay for an 11-year-old boy to see somebody naked at a beach?
So do you think those are
No, wait, answer that. Answer this question.
No.
Do you think it's okay for an 11-year-old boy?
You're trying to use them as comparisons.
Do you think that an 11-year-old boy, I didn't say they were the same. That's why it's a comparison. If it was a comparison, it wouldn't be two different things that I'd be comparing. It would just be me saying the same thing twice.
They're not a meaningful comparison because
let's find out if it's a meaningful comparison. That's what I'm asking you. Can you tell me, is it appropriate for an 11-year-old boy to hear his parents having sex?
No.
I think that's and see a rape happen.
Scarring.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
then
problematic.
Then give me the study. Then show me the data. So there's 11-year-olds that are traumatized that are scarred. Okay. Then show me.
No,
it should be easy to show me.
We don't have to.
Overwhelmingly women that are seeking out this kind of stuff. So if there's a woman who's 13, 14, I was one of these, and I was like, ooh, choking kind of hot. And then when I got a boyfriend, I was like, I want to try out choking, and we both agreed that this is what we want to do. How is that harmful?
Are you saying that it's not bad for a 13-year-old girl to seek out choking porn?
No, I don't think it's bad. I think if that's what you're into.
So you think maybe it's a good thing to show that to her.
And then I also want to say, where is this harm?
You think, repeat this, it's not bad for a 13-year-old girl to seek out porn where women are choked as part of sexual violence.
I don't think it's wrong for girls when they're exploring their sexuality and they do that through porn, if they like being dominated, like I'm one of these girls, to see that represented in porn.
Would it be wrong for an adult?
Okay, let me speak on this. I know a lot of dudes, a lot of people that they lost their virginity very early. I lost mine at 17, 18, okay? My mama wasn't going for that. My parents wasn't like, well, you just as long as you're safe, do it in your room. Nah, my parents was not going for that shit. Y'all let me know in the comments. When did y'all, I don't know if you don't give that information, when did y'all lose it? Because I had some homies who was like, yeah, bro, I was like 13, and then my homie's girl who was like 20-something gave it up to him. And so I'm like, at the time, I'm in high school, this dude was telling me this. And I'm just like, oh, that's fine. Damn, bro, you just gave it up, bro. She was 20-something and you were 12. And I'm like, damn. So, but now I'm like, nigga, you're a victim. What the fuck? Anyways, that's wild as hell to what she's saying. Like, exploring your sexuality at 13, bro. Listen to this shit, this liberal shit. Now she's
a 13-year-old girl that.
Yes, but that's different. It's different because there's an imbalance thing. You're not supposed to show children this. But if a child, like when I was 13,
how about
14,
a 16-year-old boyfriend shows it to her?
as if he's like, hey, are you into this? I don't think that's bad either.
Wait, 16-year-old boyfriend with 16-year-old girlfriend, or 16-year-old boyfriend with 13-year-old girlfriend?
Yeah, that's
with a 13-year-old girlfriend.
Oh, well, that's different. It's 3 years. 3 years
15.
is typically. If it's within before it becomes statutory rape, when they're not even supposed to be having sex. If it's 16 and 13, in most states, they're not even supposed to be having sex.
For 16 and 14, I know that the Romeo and Juliet laws differ in every
15 and
case.
16 or 13 and 14, whatever you want to say. If it's two people of the same age and they're just exploring what each other likes and there's consent and both people are comfortable with it and it turns them on, it's okay for them to explore.
Wait, now let's go back then. So it sounds like what you're saying is, fine, 13. How about a 10-year-old girl is looking up this stuff?
I mean, that's really young, but I think that's still part of like normal exploration. I agree. I wish this wasn't available to children.
Are children harmed when they see pornography?
Well, the research on that is kind of mixed. I actually have a couple.
So your answer is I don't know.
The answer is that there's research going in both ways, and it's not just me that.
So if the research, so let me ask this: so if the research goes both ways and we don't know, should it be a crime? Should it be a crime then to show children pornography?
Yeah, I think children, yes, but we're not talking about.
But why? Because you're saying we don't. You're saying we don't even know if it causes harm.
It's also a crime to give children alcohol. Is alcohol bad? And the other thing I wanted to point out
can be very bad
you're
for
talking about the link.
No, here's why it's a crime to give children alcohol. That children cannot consent to activities that are capable of gravely damaging them, or even damaging them at all. Like kids have to have their parents sign them up for sports teams. They can't just sign up on their own. So it seems like.
Can I get your
God
autograph?
damn it.
Yeah, sure.
It's Pam. You're supposed to say nice to meet you, Pam.
Shut the hell up.
What do you want?
Then that we'd have to agree that if porn doesn't damage kids, then they don't need parents, they don't need consent, and they don't need a law to protect them, right? If it doesn't damage them.
I think that it's really mixed on if it damages or doesn't. So to err on the safe side with children, I'm okay with. I wish we could keep it away from children, but we can't.
Can I? Okay, let me.
So by that
also,
logic, then people there's differing opinions about whether childhood football damages children too much or not. So by that logic, we should treat childhood football teams as being as wrong and necessary to outlaw as showing porn to children.
What? Okay, wait. Here's a question.
Which doesn't make any sense.
What damages the child?
Yeah,
yes, that's my question.
No, that's my question to you now.
Well, you're the ones promoting sex work and pornography.
So I'm asking where you draw the line, because you're saying that it's clearly not. You're saying that porn is clearly over the line, despite the fact that you presented.
Here's how I stand on porn. I personally am at the point where I don't want it in my life anymore, because that shit it's a hindrance. It's everywhere, like the Christians were saying. And it's like you can't get away from that shit. It's everywhere. Everybody's promoting their OnlyFans, pussy everywhere. Like, and you can put that shit anywhere. There's no guidelines. They don't care about that shit. So I don't want it in my life, and I would prefer it not to be around me anymore. Should it be outlawed? I don't think so. But should it be heavily monitored? Fuck yes, it should be. Because there's no way that shit. Twitter should be the way it is, bro. Twitter is a shit show, bro. And probably Instagram, but I'm not looking that deep. But Twitter porn be fine. But then when you go to them damn threads and shit, and you go to other people's pages, you see some regular ass bitch masturbate. Next thing you know, it's two bitches getting fucked by some dog, bro. And it's that bad. I'm telling you, don't look. Just take my word for it. Just
absolutely zero data to support that point.
What
so
point?
You're giving that a child being exposed to pornography when they're 11 or 12 or 13 or whatever are having all these negative outcomes. I don't think you provided a single stat for any of that, or a single point for any of that, other than it feels wrong.
I mean,
which is fine. It can feel wrong.
I did provide that. I mentioned the 2016 Wright et al. Study with the 22 countries, 22
that
studies.
Was of children? That sounded of all people.
It's talking about children, young people, and rise of aggression and use of pornography. That's 22 studies across 7 countries. There are other studies that we can put forward.
Okay, so
but even beyond the studies, it's just an obvious. Stop. I would like to finish, and then I would love to hear your response. It just seems obvious to me that if a 12-year-old boy has access to Pornhub and can freely search it, it won't take him long to find what we consider extreme pornography.
And if he finds extreme pornography, what are those outcomes? So you talked about sexual aggression. There's a meta-analysis from the 1970s to 2020, and it shows that some show that there is, some show that there's not, but the studies that were done over a longer period, the link was weakened. It's also been found the studies that employed higher level of best practices tended to provide less evidence of a potential link.
There's a meta-analysis.
The biggest predictors for sexual aggression, number one, alcohol. So again, is because alcohol seems to be actually showing us more conclusive harm in all of these respects. Is alcohol harmful? Is it bad?
There's a in excess it is, absolutely. There's a meta-analysis that Trent and I have both referenced that say that porn is connected to aggression. including
but you're right,
young
and that's
people.
why,
Porn
and that's
uses
why,
it
for
to
example, with
aggression.
alcohol, what we do is we have very stringent barriers to make sure to try to keep minors away from alcohol, even though they do that. So, for example, would you agree we ought to have very stringent barriers to keep children away from pornography? For example, all pornographic websites should require age verification.
Agreed.
I think that the problem is that practically speaking, the ones that are going to implement that are going to be the bigger ones, but it's the internet. You can't control the internet. So what's going to happen is those sketchy sites in Russia are going to be
Why don't we just have a rule that all pornographic websites have to have a XXX domain, and then we can put them in one area that requires age verification? How about that?
If there was a way that we could actually make it so that you had to verify your age.
I'm not seeing any data on like the damages for certain. It's just a bunch of opinions right now, what I'm seeing. But because like, what kind of study could you do? What are you gonna get kids to watch porn and then see how their brain differs throughout the years? I don't think so. I don't think that's within their human rights. So that seems like a pretty hard subject to find out about. Just wanted to put that out there.
On these, and that it wouldn't lead to just moving people over to sketchier places where they can still access, because I don't know if you know, the internet's pretty easy to find like crazy shit. You don't, and even if you go, especially the sketchier.
What's worse on the sketchier stuff?
What do you mean what's worse?
You're saying you're worried that if you use age verification to keep a kid off Pornhub, he'll go to a sketchier website.
So the sketchier stuff, so for instance, places like Pornhub right now, they have gotten way stricter with the type of content you can put out. You can't put out, like, if you search rape on Pornhub, nothing comes up. But if you go to like some of these sketchier ones, they do come up. So your issue is more...
Can you do step-sibling incest?
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily... Like, okay, if someone views step-sibling incest, what are they doing? What are they doing with that that's so harmful to society?
Is step-sibling incest bad?
Watching step-sibling incest...
No, I'm just saying, is the act of step-sibling incest bad?
I wouldn't say it's 100% bad, and I want to know, if you're saying it's bad, why? Where are the outcomes? Because I'm looking at outcomes.
Because family members shouldn't have sex with each other. That seems
I'm
pretty
looking
obvious.
at outcomes here. So I'm saying, if people are watching this more aggressive
because
porn,
if you have two,
where is that?
Come on, if you have
I don't need a study to know that I shouldn't have sex with my sister, whether she's by law or blood or brother.
Is watching it increasing step-sibling
you just said
incest?
that the
That's
real
my
life
question.
act
Is watching
isn't
this
that
stuff
bad?
increasing it happening? Are people having more
Just let
incest now in
Destiny
real
talk,
life, or are they
girl.
just
God.
watching it?
It desensitizes one to it, yes.
So, but is that actually leading? Because the same thing happens with violent porn, but there's a lot of studies that show it can kind of have a cathartic effect, and that sexual crimes actually decrease when people watch it. So my question is...
There's a meta-analysis with 22 studies that show that increased use in porn increases
okay, and this is a meta-analysis of even more that shows that some of them do, some of them don't, but the ones that had best practices show a weakened link. So I get
what best practices?
Best practices means like having the like peer review, better control group, more people.
You're talking about studies, not the porn.
Yeah, I'm talking about studies. So the studies that have best practices employed, that's what this meta-analysis from 1970 to 2020 found, showed that that link is actually weakened. And then if you look at actual crimes happening in society,
surprised by is that you can't make a moral decision without saying, well, let's see what these psychological studies say, even though we're in the midst of a replication crisis. Well, let me finish. We're in the midst of a replication crisis where many sociological studies, in some instances 70 or 80%, can't be replicated. So we don't know if the study's conditions are accurate. We can't just go with the very basic element of, hey, getting an erection at watching fake rape. That's probably a bad scenario. That's probably bad if people do that.
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about incest, right? If we're seeing
that's
that people,
bad. That's also rape.
People are watching step-sibling, step-sister stuff. It's not making them more likely to do it. We have no evidence. It's not leading to greater...
That's not rape. That is just sick. That's not rape. But that's that Christian brain rot shit to where he's like, it's disgusting, so it's this. It's also this immoral thing, and it's not. So it's just something that is fucking
aggression in society. It's not leading to anything. If the harm is just minimized to them seeing it and being aroused by it, is that inherently bad?
I just want to get something clear.
And if so, why?
Can I get something clear? You're okay with people being aroused and ejaculating over rape porn. You're okay with that?
As long as it's something that, if it's not real and if it's consensual actors,
and you're okay with someone getting aroused and ejaculating over incest porn.
Starting to take over now.
As long as,
would you be okay with someone ejaculating and being aroused over child sexual assault material, provided it wasn't a real child, it was a simulation.
And same thing, if it was a simulation, I would look at what the consequences are. If it's leading, especially when some of them show it's leading to less actual harm to children, or if it's leading to less sexual aggression in person, if it's leading to less SAs, which a lot of studies show, then I think yes. I think if you're just getting aroused by it, but there's no harm being done.
What about a child being raped, but it's a simulation, and it's okay for someone to ejaculate over that, in your mind?
I would say that okay, here's the thing. Some people have that proclivity, and if watching it when there's no real child, if it's AI, and that prevents somebody from actually acting this out, has a cathartic
evidence
effect,
that prevents it.
Now, there's evidence that watching that has a cathartic effect on actual SA.
Let's see what he says.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying, well, how can we really?
That is absolutely
desire something virtually that they don't. Also, we have no idea if they really want it in real life if it primes them.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Fuck that. Hold on. Okay, so she said. They said a 10-year-old. They said if it's an AI image of a 10-year-old getting assaulted and somebody gets off on that, is that okay? She said so long as it's not real, so long as it's a simulation, that type of substance can be consumed. But this, and y'all have heard me say that people should be able to do what they want to do so long as they're not hurting anybody physically or mentally. I've said this. I was saying, so I've always been one to say that so long as folks ain't harming nobody physically or mentally, I feel like, people should be free to do what they want to do. However, I'm starting to see that mindset, in a way, is a slippery slope because of what this young lady just said. And she was trying to say that they use the argument that just like children in video games, just because they play violent video games doesn't necessarily mean that all kids that do are going to go out and commit the acts that they do in the video games. But we're talking about adults that get aroused by children sexually in any way. But they're talking specifically about getting assaulted. She asked her specifically about rape. And she said that so long as it's fake and not a real child, that it is okay. No, it's not. They try to say that this will help people not go out and commit these acts. Come on now. If all you needed was big booty Latita porn to jack off, but you jack off 3 times a day, eventually you're gonna want to see something else. It's the same thing, bruh. You can't eat the same thing every day. Once you get a taste of something you're not supposed to have that's taboo in any way, you're going to look for the real thing eventually. What the fuck? There's no case for that at all. Like for the kids consuming it, there's a case for that. For adults that are attracted to children sexually, there is absolutely no fucking case for that. Absolutely none. Destiny had nothing to say. Destiny had to pivot after this to talk about how the children consuming it made the bad things happen. It's like, nah, bruh. There's no defending that. That was a horrible fucking take. That if this was a man saying that, if this was a man who was not a porn star who said that shit, bro, he would have no career. His name would be dirt done. He'd be over with, bro. They would call the police on that nigga to search his shit, bro. But this is the double standard in society, and this is what I've been telling y'all. This is what happens when all you care about is people's feelings. This is what happens when you just want to go with the norm and go with what the crowd is saying. That's a dangerous ass mindset. And y'all gotta trust and believe. I done lost a lot of people by the way I think and the way I see shit. But when they wanted to go, I let them walk. Because I'd rather be on this side saying, y'all stay over there. Stay over there with your inclusivity. Stay over there with you want to love everybody. Stay over there with everybody's your friend. We not doing that shit over here. Bruh. There's a reason. There's a reason why you gotta screen everybody. There's a reason why you can't let everybody buy your kids. There's a reason why. In the world we are in today, I'm telling you that I've been telling y'all for years that shit's coming. I done told y'all about it. What has it been in like 6 months now, maybe? Where I was talking about this earlier. And now we see it on podcasts like this, where she's openly saying with her real identity that it's okay. Because she knows that it's old men, the pedophiles that would be consuming that shit, because you have to be attracted for you to have to beat off to that. You're not going to just do it to do it and fuck off. They actually want to see that. They want to experience that. They want to be inside a child. That's what they want. That's why they would even be looking for some shit like that, or looking for a simulation of something like that so they can consume it legally. And your stupid ass is out here saying that that's okay? I don't get it, man. I don't get the women empowerment. Y'all, the men's supposed to protect the women and children, but you got women on here advocating. Look, if you want to do what you want to do, you can do that. But you can't justify every crook and cranny and avenue of the dark side of what pornography can be. But like I said, the whatever they are, Catholic, they were saying that it shouldn't exist. I don't agree with that. But at the same time, this shit is dangerous, and it is a slippery slope. And if the government wants to control social media like they do, there sure is a lot of explicit illegal material on there. Y'all heard what I said about Twitter. So if that shit's on there, you know that shit's also on there. What she's talking about. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I'm not fucking looking. But it's sick, bro. But this is the world we live in. They want this shit to be consumed. They want this shit. They want y'all to know this is what they into. I'm telling y'all, man, it gets deeper than that. But we're gonna stop it right there, man. This was a pretty long video, but it was pretty good, man. It was good. It was a good debate, but that's crazy, man. That's a crazy ass take, dog. That's a crazy ass take. I'm telling you, if that was a man, bro, he'd be canceled. He'd be done for. Done for. But thank y'all for tuning in, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Stick with your boy. We're gonna make some more content like this soon down the way. Sayonara. Arrivederci. Peace out.